Let's say you could go back to 2008. You've got $70,000 in cash in your hand. What would you do? Some people would put it in the bank. Some would buy stocks. Some would buy real estate. 15 years later, the money in the bank might have grown to about $100,000. The stocks, maybe they dropped to $40,000. Or maybe they turned into $300,000. And the real estate, in a city like Beijing, that $70,000 could have turned into $700,000 or more. But here's the part that really stings. Back in 2008, there were plenty of people who actually had that $70,000. And they did nothing. Not because they didn't want to, but because they didn't know. In today's video, we're going to use a story about three brothers to fully break down what information gap really means. When you're done watching, you'll understand why some people always seem to catch opportunities, while you only realize what you missed after it's too late. First layer, 3 people, 3 choices. In a small village, 3 brothers each saved up 50 pounds of grain. One year, a businessman came from outside the village and said he was going to build a dock by the river. In the future, all passing ships would stop there. He needed workers, and he was willing to pay in grain. The news spread. The oldest brother said, "What's that got to do with me? I don't even know how to sail." And he kept farming his land. The second brother thought about it and went to work at the dock. He earned 3 pounds of grain a day, better than farming. The third brother, he couldn't sleep that night. The next day, he took all 50 pounds of grain to the businessman and said, "Can I invest in this? You take my grain now. When the dock makes money, I get a cut." The businessman looked at him and took the deal. 3 years later, the dock was finished. Ships came and went constantly. The oldest brother, still farming. Same harvest as always. The second brother, now making 5 pounds of grain a day carrying cargo. Way better than before. And the third brother, every month he collected profit from the dock. More grain than the oldest brother could grow in an entire year. So what's the difference between them? Second layer, the 3 levels of information. All 3 brothers heard the same news, but they saw completely different things. The oldest brother saw a fact. A businessman is building a dock. It had nothing to do with him. Most people live like this. They read the news. They see change happening, but they never ask, how does this affect me? The second brother saw an opportunity. The dock needed workers. He could earn more. He took action, and yes, his life improved. But here's the thing. That kind of opportunity is visible to everyone. Low barrier. Lots of people pile in. Eventually, it just becomes another labor job. The third brother saw structure. He thought, how many ships will dock here once it's built? How much docking fee will they collect? How many years will this run? Is it worth trading 50 pounds of grain for long-term profit sharing? An information gap isn't about knowing or not knowing. It's about how deep you see. Same news. Some people see facts. Some see opportunities. Some see structure. People who see facts live in the present. People who see opportunities make short-term money. People who see structure make trend money. Think back to 2008. Some people saw that housing prices were rising. That's a fact. Some people saw an opportunity and bought a house with a mortgage. But others saw structure, location, urban development, the direction of the next 10 years. That's the difference. Third layer, why information stops at you. You might be thinking, okay, I want to see structure too, but where do I even get that kind of information? Here's the key. Information doesn't magically fly into your brain. It travels through channels. The bigger your channel, the faster and deeper the information flows. That businessman, he knew about the dock project before the village did, because he had connections. He knew a year in advance. He secured the land 6 months before anyone else heard about it. By the time the news reached the village, the best spots were already taken. This isn't about telling you to network your way into insider secrets. It's about understanding a reality. Information has layers. The core information circulates in small circles. The next layer circulates within industries. The outer layer hits the news and social media. By the time you see it, the real opportunity has already been claimed. You trade stocks based on evening news. Others trade based on draft policy documents. You buy property based on a real estate agent's posts. Others buy based on city planning meeting notes. That's the information gap. It's not about secrets. It's about levels. Psychologists call this the availability bias. People only focus on what they're exposed to. If you scroll short videos all day, your world becomes whatever's inside those videos. If you only hang out with people in your own field, your world shrinks to that industry. Your information channels determine what you see. What you see determines what you can catch. Fourth layer, how regular people break through. At this point, you might feel discouraged. Where am I supposed to get high-level information? Here are 3 practical approaches. First, move 1 layer upstream. When you see news, don't just ask what happened. Ask, who benefits first? If a dock is built, the first to benefit are investors, then the workers, then the people selling food nearby. Can you position yourself 1 step earlier in the chain? Ask yourself, can I do business with the businessman? What value can I offer upstream? Practice this often, and your information level naturally rises. Second, install your own information channels. Information won't chase you. You have to connect to it. Want to understand an industry? Start adding people in that industry. Even if 9 out of 10 ignore you, that one connection can open a door. Want to understand a city's future? Read Read government planning documents. They're boring, but they're real signals. Where your attention goes, your information flows. Third, replace event thinking with structural thinking. Whenever you see change, don't just focus on the event. Draw it out mentally. What was happening before this? What happens after? Who benefits? Who loses? How long is the chain? You might get it wrong at first, but over time, you'll start seeing what others don't. Structural thinking isn't talent. It's trained. As Malcolm Gladwell wrote, success isn't random. It's the result of accumulated advantages. People who always seem to catch opportunities aren't just lucky. They positioned themselves where information flows before the opportunity even showed up. The opportunities you can't see are the real ones. The ones you can see, they're usually leftovers. Starting today, try moving your information channel upstream. Don't wait for news to knock on your door. Go stand where the news begins. That's it for today. I'm Atong. Next time, we'll talk about pricing strategies and how products are really priced.